Looks like we're live. So, hey guys, this is Rich. Thanks for checking out Kansas City's Networking Connection. I'm here with Troy Kearns today. And so, before we get started, got to do the standard, non-standard legal description or disclaimer. So, for the record, we are not, nor will we ever be giving legal, investment, or health advice on this channel. Our opinions are our own, and if you need those services, you should seek out competent advisors in those fields. This information is presented for entertainment purposes only. You have been warned. And this group is based on the idea from Zig Ziglar, the quote that you can get everything in life you want if you just help enough other people get what they want. And that's what I do, here to facilitate everybody kind of getting help and meeting all my friends, basically, because my friends like Troy do awesome things. And I think everybody needs to know them. So, Troy, why don't you kind of give them a breakdown of what you do, because you got an amazing story of what you're doing down in Kansas City, Missouri.
All right, sure. My name's Troy Kearns. I just turned 44 years old in December, and I'm originally from Seattle, Washington. I moved to Las Vegas when I was 28. Spent the last 15 years there really honing my skill set as a real estate investor, as an agent. I sold about 2,500 REO properties for the banks, and then I started buying properties in 2009 very aggressively. And in around 2019, I got excited about Kansas City and all the investment opportunities there, or here, I should say, because at that point in time it was there. So I got excited about all the investment opportunities in Kansas City. And during COVID, I went all in on Kansas City. I sold a bunch of my properties in Vegas and 1031 exchanged them all into Kansas City, except for my commercial properties. In the last 18 months, I've bought about 100 properties in Kansas City. And that's where I'm at today. And
you're buying them and rehabbing them, right?
Yeah, I am buying them. I haven't bought one property that is move-in ready yet, unfortunately.
Well, that's the right way to do it if you're going to fix and flip, right? So,
yeah. So that's my story.
Yeah, that's awesome. So thank you for coming on today. I appreciate it. And then how did this start? I mean, what was the driving factor behind, you're going, hey, I want to go to Kansas City and I'm going to make stuff happen?
Pat Mahomes.
That's a good reason. I mean, that he's fun to watch.
I like to think that, there's seeds that are already planted in your head and then something will trigger them. And I think he was the thing that triggered me. I had seen a lot of guys posting on social media about Kansas City. I had never even been to Kansas City. My sisters went to school in St. Louis area, so I was familiar with Missouri. I guess my family originates from this area some generations ago. And so, just coming down here and watching a Monday Night Football game is what happened when, like, the aha moment when I had been, flipping in other markets, Mississippi. I'd gone to Indianapolis to look at that market. I buy and hold in Louisiana. I've been in other markets before. So I felt like I had kind of my cojones out on the chopping block in one market, which is Biloxi. I felt like I had too much there and not enough other places. And so I had looked for a market. Pennsylvania, I bought a property there in Philadelphia, and I just was too early in my career and I didn't buy enough of them. It's too far away. So I felt like I kind of missed that opportunity there. And Cincinnati, I missed out on. Detroit, I missed out of. And when I came to Kansas City, I felt like I wasn't missing out. I felt like there's plenty of runway still. I think that a lot of the locals here felt like, well, they've already missed out. And I felt like, well, there's a long ways to go. And during COVID, I watched a lot of the stuff I already bought double in value. So it just proved to me that I was buying at a good value already.
So, and before I forget, I want to make sure everybody knows, if you go in the description to wherever you're watching this video, make sure Troy has a YouTube channel. This guy is all over on whatever social media platform you're on. He's out there. Go ahead and share his page. And if you want to learn how to do it, he's got tons of videos. In fact, there was a very interesting one I was watching. You're interviewing the guy about the bridge. And that's really all I want to say, is because I want people to go watch it. It's pretty amazing. I mean, this guy's got a hell of an idea for this bridge.
Right. And it's a Kansas City deal.
Yeah, right. I mean, I was like, man, what a great idea. So I mean, anyway, but yeah, go ahead and then like and share this video so your friends can see it too, because that's really what's going to drive this, is people helping people out. So anyway, and how long have you been doing this? From the time, I guess, you watched the Monday Night Football game, because apparently that's really driving people to move to Kansas City. to you buying your first house. I had no idea those correlated. So this is a good, this is a good interview.
They really don't. But like I said, a lot of times opportunity doesn't correlate with timing, right? And timing doesn't correlate with opportunity. And sometimes you just got to make your own. So that put the bug in. And I said to my wife, I said, let's go check it out. I think I know I'm right. I think I'm right. And the next morning, I went on my computer and I started doing the research and looking at the houses in the market, set up a search, started, really investigating. And I was like, yeah. So come back home and I'm like, we're booking a trip. We're going to Kansas City. And this is Thanksgiving of 2019. We came out here. We stayed at the Ambassador on Grand Avenue. I'm staring across the street at a property that is empty in downtown Kansas City. And I'm looking at all these properties. I'm looking at the city. I'm going, when enough people see this city the same way I see this city, that have the investment acumen that I have and have been investing in other markets, and they see the type of value that's in the Midwest, they're going to buy it. And I'm early. And so that property that I looked at across the street, I ended up putting in contract. It was 1108 Grand Avenue. And then COVID hit. And I was already buying properties in Kansas City. I think I was up to like 30 or 40 or 50, something like that. I was in my infancy here. And COVID happened, and I didn't know what was going to happen. And I was investing with a partner at that point in time in that building. And we backed out of that deal because we couldn't get tax credits. Mm-hmm. And I'm glad I did, but now I'm in the process of trying to buy several buildings downtown Kansas City. I just made an offer on the Western Union building that didn't get accepted. I made an offer on the on another building downtown 1044 Main Street. I found out at a Christmas party that I was invited to that another investor there got that property. So
small world, right?
Totally. And you know what? It's one of those things like, truthfully, as a guy who really could give a crap about what I buy, because I buy a lot of properties, that was one that I was very excited about buying. And finding out that somebody else got it, it was a little bit just sucked for me. But at the same point in time, my loan denied me on that. My bank denied me on that loan, and because they didn't like the property, and I figured I was going to figure out another way to do it anyways. So maybe it just wasn't meant to be,
There you go.
So sometimes that happens.
So, and then what was your biggest issue with getting this whole thing started? I guess moving probably had to be one big one.
Property management.
Oh, yeah.
So the reason I moved here was because of the property management. I had made such a significant investment in Kansas City that it was either let's go find another property manager who cares as much as I do, because the other one stole money from me. Let's go through that. Let's go through that process again. Or I already know that process myself. Let me hire an extra couple people on my payroll. Let me and my wife go do what we've already done before in Vegas, take over and deal with the property management, put the systems in place, deal with the pain and suffering for 6 months. And then it just ended up bringing us out here. And we felt like, man, we can buy 10 acres in Platte County, build our dream house, which I'd been trying to do in Vegas, but it was going to cost me like a fortune, like a small fortune, as much of those buildings in downtown Kansas City to build what I want. And out here, I felt like I could build that for what was reasonable and affordable for me.
You can have the land and the house for what you spent on the house out there.
I think I could have the land and the house for what I was going to spend on the land.
Right. Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's crazy out there. I mean, honestly, I tell investors all the time, I'm like, just, raw dirt out here. If you're just looking to park money, raw dirt, it will go up eventually, because if you're gonna do a park and hold, man, I mean, you can't beat it, because it's gonna be there and nothing's gonna happen except the price goes up. So especially the further out you get, I mean, it just gets cheaper, and then but it catches up. So
for sure.
So did anybody tell you this wouldn't work?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I get told all the time, don't do this, don't do that. Some of it's right. You know what I mean? Right. And some of it, is wrong, but you got to listen to, common sense. And you know how many people have been rich because of real estate, even if they don't go crazy like I've done, and they just buy, a few houses for their lifetime.
Right.
They're going to be in an awesome situation.
Exactly. And building your wealth long term. I mean, and then, setting up your family for future success. I mean, that's really what it's about. So, um, I probably know the answer to this question, but do you love what you do now?
Of course, yeah. I mean, I don't have to work at this point in my career. I haven't had to work for the last probably 5 or 6 years. And so if I didn't love what I did right now, then I wouldn't do it. And I find that there's more challenges. You just have to be willing to take them on. Like buying a building downtown Kansas City in a market that I know very little about is totally scary for me. But I know that I can afford to take the risk. I know that I'll recover from the mistakes, and I know that I'm going to learn a crap ton that is going to further me in my career, which is what I want to do. I want to get bigger and better at whatever I'm
Right.
doing.
Right. Well, that's the thing. You can't, I mean, you're just going to stagnate if you do keep doing the same thing and then just go, well, I've got enough money. I mean, I might as well just ride out the wave. Right. That's no way to go through life. That's pretty boring for most people. I mean, I think they dream of that, but in reality, when you're there, you're kind of like, hey, I got to keep going. I can't just stop. So, um,
Yeah.
and then, how did you find this job? Like real estate, I guess would be the thing. How did you come into that?
Rick, I'm glad you asked that question. I So my mentor, still my mentor to this day, he's done a few more deals than me. He always tells me, once you, I'll save that for another day. But yeah, he was, so my mom was renting a house in Renton, Washington. I had just graduated college and I went to Central Washington University and I was kind of trying to find myself. I knew I wanted to be rich. I had been studying the stock market, really not, made a few bucks on there, nothing to gloat about, but enough for somebody who never made any money. And the guy who came to change my mom's locks was a guy named Keith, and her son was a guy named Aaron. And Aaron was actually changing the locks. And I was talking to him, and I'm like, well, what do you do? Just being a curious guy. And he's like, well, I own 7 rental properties. I'm like, what? And then right then and there, I just was like, okay, I got to get into this. What's this guy doing? He was the same type of guy I was. So I figured, and so he kind of like helped educate me. And every critical decision that could have gone this way or that way, I would always call him and he'd give me the advice about which way to go. And that really helped me move
Oh,
along
awesome.
the right direction.
Well, that's good. We got questions about mentors at the end here. I don't want to get into any more of that because I mean, I'm big on mentors, so we'll just wait until the end because I think that you got some great information there. If someone watching wanted to follow the same career path, would you recommend doing it the same way, or is there a better way to get to where you're at?
Rick, my way is the hardest way to get there.
Yeah.
And I honestly do not recommend anybody takes that way. It's just stupid to a lot of the things that I look back that I did. And I just wanted it so damn bad that
Yeah.
I would not recommend the same path. That's why I created the YouTube channel. That's why I created the TikTok. That's why I'm currently writing a book that I don't want to write. I'm not a writer. I'm a reader. I'm not a writer. And so it's getting outside my comfort zone. But the reason I'm writing it, it's actually called the Millionaire Mentorship book. And I actually have a Millionaire Mentorship contest, which a guy out of Houston, Texas, you can check out the video, won this year. I'm funding his deal. We're flipping the deal together and splitting the profits. That's what I'm trying to do, is encourage other people to get started.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, here's the thing: you got to start. Most people just sit around and think about it real hard all the time, and nobody ever actually pulls the trigger. So I commend you for motivating people to do that, and I can't wait to read your book. So, um, so out of all with all the people out there watching, what do you need help with right now? I mean, what can they do to help you?
I mean, I would tell you honestly and sincerely, the things that I need the most help with are social media. If you're in social media and you feel like, man, I want to learn real estate, hit me up. If you're a contractor and you want to learn real estate and you're really good at your craft, hit me up. If you are somebody who is an app developer, I've got a million ideas for apps. Hit me up. I just want to share knowledge. I want to be around smart people who are smarter at other things than I am. And I feel like I'm in the point in my career where I'm going to buy a building downtown Kansas City. I'm going to put my office in there. I'm going to put some sort of a lab together, and I'm going to do great things. So if you're looking to surround yourself with somebody who's motivated to be the best, hit me up and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Follow me on TikTok. We're launching a podcast. I've already got about 10 episodes banked. Rick, I would love to have you on it. I think we talked about that before.
Yeah. No, I'm game. It's going to be awesome.
So just hit me up. Follow Rick. You're bringing value.
So, well, thank you. I appreciate that. I hope everybody likes and shares all the channels that we're on. So, and then, we covered this earlier. Do you have a mentor? I mean, obviously you have more than one. You have one. I mean,
I've got many, and I suggest this is what I did several years ago is I put like all of my mentors, and this, I'm in an office I'm renting right now, but in my office in Las Vegas, it's still up there. I took Carl Icahn. I took Donald Trump. This is back in 2012. This is before he won the election. I put all these guys' pictures on my wall, all the guys that I thought, man, these are guys who have done amazing things and I'd like to be them. And I put their famous quotes up on my box. I think you should surround yourself, whether it's your fictional mentors that you put up or people that you look up to who are doing stuff better than you, whether it's like me trying to get into the podcast. I'm listening to guys who've got successful podcasts.
Right.
Surround yourself by people who are better than what you are.
And I think that's great advice. I've never heard that before, but it's kind of like your, mentor vision board, right? Of all the people that are doing the things that you want to achieve. I mean, I think that makes a lot of sense. So, now, how did you find the mentors that you currently have? I mean, we talked about the one who's, was your locksmith at your mom's house, but I mean, have you found other ones in a similar, like just at Mary events or whatever?
Yeah. I mean, there's been a lot of people that have helped me along the way. I don't know if you know who Tom Wheelwright is. I met Tom Wheelwright, who's a Rich Dad advisor. I met him at one of the Rich Dad events. You got to go out and get outside your comfort zone and talk to people. And if there's people that you look up to, don't go and say, can I buy you a cup of coffee? Nobody cares. Don't go and say, can you go out to lunch with me? Why don't you bring value to those people and say, listen, I've got something for you and I know you've got stuff for me. So let me bring value to you so that you can bring value to me and spend time with me. But the amount of people that are like, hey, can you do this for me? Can you do this for me? I got a million of those people. I've got children, and
right. That's a great example. Especially right after Christmas. It's like, that's not what I wanted. Well, guess what? I can take it back. So
yeah, I mean, social media too, get outside your comfort zone. I didn't want to be on social media. I'm the last guy that want to be on social media. I was off it for 10 years. Right. But then watching someone who embraced it and who was actually, I would say, way further behind me in terms of investing, watching his career take off because of social media, I was like, you got to get outside your comfort zone, Troy, and get into this thing.
I agree with you. In fact, if you look at my Facebook profile, my first Facebook profile picture is a saltine cracker. And it was because my wife was giving me hell. She started my Facebook page and she regrets it now. I mean, but she started it and called me up one day and I'm at lunch with a client. And this one I was selling lumber and building materials and stuff. And she's like, you need to put a picture on there. Just take a selfie. And I was like, nobody wants to see my damn face. I don't care. There's no way. And so I took this Sharpie out of my pocket and drew a face on the saltine cracker, took a picture of it and posted it. And 30 seconds later, the phone's ringing and it's her. And I'm like, uh-oh. And the guy's like, what? I go, it's my wife. And I go, I'm just going to let her go to voicemail and calm down. And it's because I really I wanted anonymity. But the thing is you got to get out of, like you said, got to get out of the comfort zone, got to do videos, got to do stuff to get people to know you. And that's how you succeed, because here's the thing, in anonymity, you can be successful, but not very much. You won't be successful long-term because you need other people to help you.
Well, and here's the other thing is, if you're trying to promote your personal brand and you're like, Rick, I am a great investor, but nobody knows about it because I haven't recorded it. I'm not sharing it with anybody. And you have this huge platform out there that's free, that all you have to do is load up your information, especially TikTok right now. People are not getting on TikTok. They're missing out. I mean, TikTok is in its infancy right now. and you can jump on there, play around with these silly trends. You don't even have to say anything. Like, I'm watching guys blow up on TikTok
No.
who just record a reaction of them falling back in a chair, and they put a bunch of words on it, and they get 1 million views on that thing. So I would say, just get started and make sure you share this video with everybody you freaking know, right?
You're right. Exactly. And I mean, so here's the other thing. And just so you know, in a couple of weeks here, I've got Chad Johnson coming on. He's got like 50,000 TikTok followers. I mean, it's crazy. And all he does is just sit in his office and do crazy videos. And, but the thing is, he has the realization that he's a loan officer. People like, how many loans are you getting on that? Like, I'm not getting any loans. It's people from all over the world watching. It's but he is building a brand that will help him eventually. So, and so he's coming out from the right attitude.
Right. And the other thing is, like, how do you monetize it? Are you just creating content that you can't monetize? And that's where you have to ask yourself, all right, am I trying to just build a brand, or am I trying to build a brand and monetize it? And for me, I'm trying to do both.
Right. So how can people get a hold of you if they want to reach out? I know I put the links for your YouTube videos in the description. Is there another way that you could have them reach out to you if they're interested?
You can add me to the Instagram. I get a lot of DMs on Instagram. At this point in time, I'm still answering them personally. And so if they want to get a hold of me personally, I would just say, find me at the Troy Kearns Channel on Instagram. Find me on TikTok. I've got a pretty good TikTok following. And definitely go to YouTube. That's where you really are going to get the time of the actual, like, hey, how do I wholesale? How do I buy a commercial property? How do I use historical tax credits? How do I, hire the right accountant? Whatever, we've got a video for it. So they can comment, and and that's how they can find me. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, and I appreciate you joining us today again. And then, is there a final thought you want to give everybody before we head out?
Yeah, I do. Thanks for asking, Rick. The final thought that I would say is take action, and don't wait till tomorrow. Tomorrow's not guaranteed. We take life for granted. Many of us, we're waiting for things to happen to us versus making things happen. Take action today. Do something today. Write your goals down. The new year's coming. Don't make it the same year as last year. Make it a better year than last year. Even if you didn't hit your goals, like I had a goal last year, I wrote down like speak Spanish. I'm not fluent yet, but it's going back on the goal list. Just take action, get started doing something. That's it.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate that. That's good advice, no matter what you're doing. I mean, it just doesn't get done unless you jump up and do it. So waiting on somebody else to come and help you, you might as well, you're going to fail. So anyway, well, thank you again, Troy. Appreciate it. And thank you everybody for watching. Don't forget to like the Troy's channels and pages and all that fun stuff. Be sure to share those with your friends. If you need anything from either one of us, be sure to reach out. So thank you guys, and have a great day.